dads back, causing mass discussion. Can't you see them dad boys are casting? Testing competition on their podcast mission. Never know what you get, it's chaotic precision. If you don't know, you better find out the dad pack. Are here to prove a point, we three kings just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. This show is thunder, subscribe and tune in, and you're laughing to the very end. Don't turn your back on the dad pack. Don't turn your back on the dad pack.
Put the kids to bed. The dads are home. We are the DWO podcast, representing the dad world order, where the jokes are bad, the advice is questionable, but the love is all real. I am the pretty-faced Patball, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin, and with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack. We got the big bad bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
Honk if you hear me, baby. Let's go.
And he is the perpetual mid-carter and the two-time world record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Cephus.
Cowabunga, indeed. It is day 1,371 of consecutively wearing wrestling shirts, and today's a brand new Danhausen shirt.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed. As Mr. Magnificent said, we are the DWO podcast, and tonight we have with us a very special guest. I went ahead and looked for the record of it. I couldn't find it, but the rumor mill has it that the gentleman joining us tonight has won a Grammy for Best Pajamas multiple times. The one and only Muck Sticky, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, how the heck are you?
Very, very nice. Very nice to be on your podcast. Thanks for that kind introduction. That's funny you say that because, okay, so I've been to the Grammys numerous times, but I've been in the nomination pool, but I've never been nominated. I've had people to where you could vote to nominate me for one, but I've actually never been nominated for a Grammy. So when I went to the Grammys multiple times, I always went in my pajamas on the red carpet.
Yes.
And when the first year I started going, the first year I went, I made a joke on social media and I was like, "Hey, I won best the Grammy for best pajama pants," which I mean is Grammys are for music, so there's like they wouldn't give you a Grammy for pajama pants, you know what I mean? And so many people were like, "That's awesome, congratulations, man!" And I was like, so every year, whether I went to the Grammys or not, I always like posted my picture of me on the red carpet of the Grammys, being like, "And for the 16th year in a row, I won best pajama pants at the Grammys," or whatever. And so that's how that whole joke started.
That's fantastic.
Hey, I gotta say this too: the pajama pants gimmick. What a stroke of genius! Just being like, this is my look. This is what I do, because you're just comfortable all the time, and nobody bats an eye at it. So kudos to you, sir.
Well, thank you. I couldn't figure out how to request to be live on your video. It's not letting me. I'm trying to request to go live on my Instagram, but
you can figure that shit out there.
I'm working on it.
It just says I've joined, and it's allowing me to share the video, but it's not allowing me to like click there's usually a request to go live, so maybe it's like something in your account settings. I don't know.
We got our IT department on it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, maybe you're not following me. Follow me.
That might be it. Wow.
Wow.
So I think when I followed you the other day,
we're following him. Relax.
Yeah. Maybe not, but anyway, that wouldn't count anyway because I can request to go on all kinds of people. I don't know how they're not following me. So
we are not as versed on Instagram as we should be, man.
But I shared it to my story. I made a post on my story with the link on that.
Yep.
So hopefully it sends people to this live. Anyhow, if you want, I can just go live on one of my Instagram, and you can request that as well. I don't know. Probably not though. With this stream key thing, it's probably got you as like that. Anyway, we won't harp on that. I was just trying to make sure we got the word out to everybody. So, that being said, The pajama pants thing, man, it stemmed. There are a lot of reasons behind it. When I was in my early 20s and in college and getting out of college or being done with college, I started college when I was like 12. So by my early 20s, I was fucking over that shit. That's a whole other podcast. But anyway, the pajama pants thing started. Me and some buddies would go to like the local mall in Memphis where I lived. And we had just started making songs on like a 4-track recorder. And actually, we started on a karaoke machine. And
that's old school.
A 4-track recorder. But I kind of knew I wanted to be an artist. So we would go out to the mall and I would dress in my crazy clothes. I had the big hats and everything and colorful jackets, and I wore pajama pants, and my buddies would walk about 10 paces behind me so they could catch, as people walked past me in the mall, they could catch their reaction and hear them going, "Hey, did you see that guy, blah, 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 blah," and they would get a rise out. They would laugh. It would be funny to hear we just did it to, make people talk. And so that's sort of how the pajama pant thing started. And then one of my buddies, Dennis, who was there was two guys, Dennis and Chris, and when he died shortly thereafter, like a year and a half after I had been Muck Sticky playing shows and stuff, he passed away from multiple sclerosis, and I was a pallbearer at his funeral. And so the day of his funeral was a very emotional day, to say the least, but it was a very physical day for me as well. I was up crying a lot and bending down on my knees and lifting this casket. And, I had worn a pair of slacks that didn't fit me. In fact, they were a pair of his slacks. And through the movement of the day, they end up starting to bust apart at the seams. And like by the end of it, when everybody was, gathering for food and stuff, my slacks were all just like torn up. They looked terrible. And it was like an eye-opening moment for me. And kind of like, I also took it as him as kind of saying like, "Hey man, you never dressed up in slacks to impress me or whatever. And I'm dead now. And all these people you don't really know them. So why are you changing who you are to impress these people when even those nice fancy clothes can be torn apart and ripped to shreds and not be nice?" So it's like a very like awakening moment for me, like materialistically, to not be too attached to material things and how you look to impress other people. And I kind of took it as a sign, as like, hey, be Muck Sticky and wear your pajama pants all the fucking time, and live the life you want to live. Don't wear a uniform. Don't follow anybody else's path but your own. That sort of thing. And so that's how the pajama pant thing started, really.
Man, it's got like a crazy cool story behind it. You know what I mean? My story for my streak is literally that I was a fan of you, and I was impressed with your literally. I was like, he's done pajamas forever. I have like 200 plus wrestling shirts. I should start doing just wrestling shirts.
Yeah, I remember hearing when you. I mean, how many days is it now?
1,371 today.
1371. All right, man, that's some years now. So I remember hearing about this the first time we played together, that you had started that trend, and then you're still sticking with it, dude. That's fucking killer, bro. I'm fucking proud of you, man.
Just a fashion he does it too, just to recording the video every day. And 99% of the time he does it in one take and it's smooth like butter. And he's got to do it with some absolute legends and dream people, that participate in the videos with him. It's just, such a cool story, man.
You never know where doing something that's unique to you will lead you, man. I have a philosophy that most people live a pretty cool, unique life, but a lot of people get into, something, whether it be a job or a relationship or whatever, that's like the same thing day after day after day after day. And then before you know it, you wake up and you're almost done with life, and you're like, man, where did fucking life go? I did the same, you know, and I had just always preferred to live a life that would where I constantly had unique experiences. It's kind of like living in an adventure. You know, I never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. It's always new and exciting, and you have to have like an optimistic attitude about it. You know what I mean? Because like when I first started, when it was just I was telling you about when we were walking around the mall, my buddy's mom. I remember her like being very against it, and not the one that died, but my other buddy, and she just like, you know, and I was like, and this was before he died, and they were like, you're never gonna go anywhere with this music thing, wearing stupid clothes like that, you know, and like it just was it was you can't listen to what other people say is right for you, man. Everybody only knows what's right for them. And in turn, you can't force what you think is right for you on everybody else. I'm not out here trying to say everybody's got to fucking wear pajama pants. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's what I do. You know, if you want to, cool, you know, but you don't have to. And it's the same thing with the music. You don't have to listen to it. If you like it, cool, listen to it. But I've never been like a big advertiser. I've never hired a publicist, you know, because just never wanted to like force my shit on anybody, like especially like trying to pay for it. You know what I mean? It just never, I've always been like, let's do it organically. And that way it'll be strong. You know, the people that do like it will like it, and they'll tell the other friends about it. And hey, you know, check this shit out if you dig it, because that's the way I always got introduced to the music I loved, was by somebody else I know that I trusted telling me, hey, this is cool, you need to check it out, as opposed to like, this is the next big rising star, you know, go listen to it, you know. And so I mean,
that's exactly why we booked ourselves on your shows. When we heard you were coming, we hit the promoter up like immediately, like, hey, we need to be on this, because I that same creativity is what I go with, man. I don't care if we put out our album, we put like thousands of hours into putting this album out, and if we didn't sell 10 albums, I'd have been happy, you know what I mean? But we sold quite a few, you know what I mean?
Good for you, man. That's awesome. I know that road so well, man. I started doing that back in 2004 and did one pretty much every year until last year when I did 10.
Jesus.
I didn't press that shit on. I didn't press CDs for that. I was just like, yeah, we're doing digital only. That's a little bit of overhead that I'm not gonna.
I gotta ask about that.
Like pre-sale, like, yeah, you know, sell like a certain limited number of them in pre-sale, but it took so much out of me to make all 10 albums that by the time it came time to put them out, I was just ready to be kind of like done with that project, you know. It's I think everything has a season, and I was on that project for over a year, way over a year.
Wow.
From the inception to reaching out to Guinness, to getting the fucking acceptance letter back, to recording all the shit, releasing it, submitting the evidence, and it's you know, it's such a long fucking process, man.
So did you have like the idea and like the workings with Guinness before you actually like had work in the albums?
Well, I knew I was going to do it anyway, because in fact, this kind of the pajama pant thing. So back in 2015, we submitted for it to be a record, and they were like, yeah, we can't have anybody with you every day. And, you know, this was really, I mean, there was social media, but I don't even think at that time they credited enough to be like, you know, you would have to put your video or whatever online every day for us to whatever. And they can't be, you know, even if I did, you get it because you're like, you know, you're wearing that t-shirt every day. But like if I tried to say I was wearing pajama pants all day, every day, which I do, people would be like, oh, there's got to be somebody to monitor that. And that's what their letter was to us. Like, we can't, there's no way anybody could ever monitor this. And so we can't officiate his record, but we do recognize that you are the only person who's ever submitted something like this, and you do hold the record. So go with that.
Honestly surprising.
Then when I did the 10 albums thing, I submitted it, and it took them like 4 months to get back to me to be like, okay, yeah, and here's what we need. Gave me this huge long list of evidence that I had to fucking submit, and like fucking dozen different things of required shit, and all these guidelines I had to follow. And we had looked to see who held the record before, and there was no official record. There was like one other artist who had done 4 that we could find from Nepal, had done 4 albums on one day. And then after researching further, after we did the 10, we found another like electronic artist that did 9, but his albums didn't meet the requirements that I know Guinness required for an album. You know what I mean? So he still wouldn't have held the record if he had submitted.
Guinness is tricky like that, man.
Yeah, it was pretty in depth. And then so I think I submitted it in December. We had the idea in the summer of 23, and then we finally submitted it in December. Like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we had already started recording, and we recorded all the way up until right before releasing it in June, the end of June, and then have continued to promote it for the next year until now. So I've been at that world record project, a good 2 years since we decided on it.
But damn, with that much material, my gosh.
Yeah, man. I know my creative muse, this self, whatever you want to call it. It's a channel. A lot of people phrase it in a lot of different ways, but or describe it in a lot of different ways. I just know my abilities and what I'm capable of doing, and that thousands of hours you put into that CD, like I did. It took me the same amount of time on my first several albums, you know what I mean? And until I just kind of got into a flow, I'll never let anything stop me. I had it in my mind when I was coming up as an artist that like it takes, and this when I was coming up, this is a 98, 99, 2000, 2001. We were recording on a karaoke machine, and we wanted to go to a studio, but it was like $250 an hour in a studio, and I was like, man, there's no telling how long it's going to take us to like record every guitar track and bass track and drums and record all the vocals and get it right, man. It's lots of hours, and I barely make $250 a week working at wherever the fuck I worked at the time. And so how the fuck am I going to spend hours in a studio or afford to? And then I heard about this thing called a 4-track that Beck had recorded a lot of his first music on. And I was like, well, what is this you speak of? And my dad knew a guy that owned a music store. He played a guitar in a band with him. So I went down to the music store, and with the help of my mom giving me a couple $100, and I put in a couple $100 that I'd saved up, I bought this 4-track recorder and just started making songs. And I was like, nothing's going to stop me from making this art, And I can't afford to do a studio. Okay, I'll just do it my cheesy little way. And from what I've learned from fans over the years, like, that stuff is more endearing than the well-produced shit that you do, because as you grow, you get better at it. You want to hone your craft and become better. But that's why I did the Freshly Baked album, because we'd done Man in Pajamas was like super well produced, and it's great. It's the best sounding record I have quality wise. But I just kept hearing from people like, man, I love the old school raw vibe, So I was like, all right, I'm just going to fucking bang Freshly Baked out. And then when I did that and we started the world record thing, I was like, all right, I'm going to do the same thing with that. I'm just going to make it raw. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to go in here and make a song off the top of my dome and polish it as best as I can. And that's that. Then it'll be what it is, and people like it, cool. People don't like it, cool. It's what it is for today. And if I can get 2 or 3 of them out today, cool, awesome. Because there were some days that I got a couple of songs out. I always heard about Dolly Parton writing Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same fucking day. You know what I mean? Right. So
wow,
2 of the most massive songs in music history written on the same afternoon. So if you can do that,
two like kind of polar opposite songs too, like not even in the same avenue of like oh, well, they're kind of similar songs. No, they are not.
No, yeah. One's about don't take my dude, and the other one's like I'll always. I mean, maybe in a way, kind of
I guess they're
related.
connected.
Like,
Yeah,
the dude's leaving either way.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. I was one of the people that was I tried to listen to every single bit of it in one day, and I realized that was impossible. Like there was no way I could listen to all 10 albums in one day. But I have gone through all 10 of your albums, man. And it was just I love people who are ambitious like that, man. I think that, like I said, a lot of your energy is kind of where I get the same mentality from. These guys will tell you I've stumbled my way into a lot of places where I probably shouldn't have been, but I act like I'm supposed to be there, and I'm there. You know what I mean? And the power of positivity in your message helps, like it really does, because it's gotten us to where, I mean, you know, we're interviewing you, for example, and we've had America's Got Talent finalists and CEOs of game companies and pro wrestlers, and like we're friends with, like, for example, Steve Macklin from TNA. He's their current.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Nice.
He's their international champion, dude, and he was just in the comments cheering us, and it's just like, you know, that's our boy.
That's awesome,
you know?
Man. It's always great when you connect with people you relate to. I wouldn't say look up to, because I mean a lot of people put it that way, but I think it's just you look at them and relate to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Whether they're further along in their path and you're, you know, everybody's on their own fucking path, and there's nobody that can be like, oh, I'm better than you because I'm further along in my path. You're just further along on your path. Everybody's got their own path. But it's cool when you look up to the people who are further along on the path than you are, where you aspire to be, and they're cool people. That's why I've always tried to maintain that when dealing with people that relate to what I do. You know, because I know how I want to be treated. I was treated like a dickhead by a couple of people, and I could name them, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to give them the free promotion. But there's only a handful of them, and hundreds that I've met over the years that were super awesome to me. Like the people I looked up to the most, Beck. I've met him a couple of times, and he was always super cool every time I met him. You know, so many. Steve Tyler when I was on the Kiss Aerosmith tour, Kiss, you know, all those dudes are super. I became friends with Peter Criss. I would see him like every fucking day. His wife Gigi was super sweet to me. Their niece Amber was a huge fan of the band I was a roadie for, Saliva, and so I would hook them up with free Saliva signed merch and stuff, and so we became like buds. I would see them and we'd stop and talk and have tea and shit. They're really cool people, man.
Wow.
So it's cool when the people you look up to are cool folks. You know. It's some, you find some that aren't, but like I said, they ain't really even worth the time of day. So
we definitely have dealt with a lot of that too, man. It's cool to get. We use the phrase when because we interview a lot of wrestlers, and it's been very fruitful for us. And we use the phrase when wrestling loves us back. I think that same energy exists with just about anything you can do in life, man. We get to do cool shit with cool people. You know what I mean?
That's cool. You mentioned TNA way back in its inception. I mean, it may have been even one of the first real big events. There was this thing in Huntsville, Alabama that I went to with my buddy Lil Hollywood. And Toby Keith was there, and I'll never forget, me and Lil Hollywood and Toby Keith sat on this stairwell in the back dressing room, and there was like all these legendary wrestlers, man, like Jackie Fargo, like the old school wrestling legends, and Jeff Jarrett, of course, and tons of people were there. I mean, it was like a Legends night or something, and that was so fun, man. I got to hang out with all the wrestlers, and I did that a few times with my buddy Lil Hollywood. He did a lot of stuff with Jerry Lawler, and that's how I kind of know Jerry Lawler. I had Jerry in our movie Dig That Zebo Newton, and then I ended up producing his classic Memphis wrestling show for about 6 to 8 months in Memphis there.
Oh wow.
After we did the movie, he and I became really close. I'd go over to his house and hang out and work on stuff.
That's cool.
Jerry's a cool cat, man. True legend, and I call a good friend. Like we became really tight for a while. Good guy. Love Jerry.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of your posts. Like holy shit, is he just fucking hanging out with Jerry the King Lawler?
We go golfing. We went golfing quite a bit. I haven't seen him since I moved down here to Tampa, but we did quite a few rounds of golf when I lived in Memphis. We would meet up for barbecue or donuts. Like I said, I hung out at his house and countless hours working on that show, because and then I would have to go back to we'd go through all these old DVDs of all the old Memphis wrestling from back in the 80s and shit, and
Wow.
Go through all these long matches and be like, all right, you got to cut out those commercials. And, and then so I'd take the DVDs back to my place, import them all and chop them up and turn it into with new logos and stuff. I produced a lot of stuff back in the day. And, so like I said, it was about 8 or 9 months really that I produced that for him. It was a fun time seeing all those old matches that you never see. It's on YouTube though. You look up Jerry Lawler's Classic Memphis Wrestling. There's a channel we made. I don't know if he still updates it or not. I don't think so, but I was uploading videos there for a good little minute. You can see some of them. It's got some pretty cool matches with some people, a lot of people who are no longer here anymore. Yeah, pretty legendary stuff.
Dude, I can't fathom just sitting and like watching old Memphis wrestling with Jerry Lawler. Like that's fucking mind blowing. But like sitting down and
listening to in Memphis growing up too, watching Saturday morning wrestling. Yeah. So think about, it was totally surreal.
Hanging out with Superman.
You're like sitting down and listening to Abbey Road with McCartney or something, Right.
Like, I tell you what happened was, I knew him through Little Hollywood. I met him quite a few times at different Memphis wrestling things, and then it was years that passed after Hollywood wasn't in my music thing anymore. And then I think I saw him maybe at one of the fairs in Memphis and was like, hey man, we're going to be making this movie and got, a bunch of Memphis people in it. And would love for you to play the sheriff. We just had it in our mind that it would be cool as shit to have him play the sheriff. And he was like, yeah, I'm totally down for it. But we'd have to schedule it. And so we scheduled it one day where he had like 4 hours open one afternoon. And man, we hustled it. He came to my apartment. And this was like, I'd only talked to him through text messaging and stuff. And hadn't seen him in years. Comes straight to my apartment, walks straight in, goes into my bathroom, changes into the sheriff wardrobe, shoots the scene in the bedroom, which is at the end of the movie. And then we headed straight out to the Shelby Forest General Store, which is in Millington part of Memphis, which took about 30-45 minutes to drive there. And let me tell you this long-winded story. I will, behind the scenes story.
I'm down.
So Shelby Forest General Store is this legendary place. Justin Timberlake grew up. His house was like a mile down the road, and the church that he grew up going to, where his father was the music minister at, and is right down like a half a mile down the street from it. And it's this legendary place, right? And in fact, his father plays the pastor in our movie, and we shot it at that church. So, but anyway, the general store scene, we shot some of it inside and some of it out front in the parking lot. And we were shooting the scene out in the parking lot out front. It was like right when school was letting out. So it's like constant stream, and there's a school down the road. So there's like a constant stream of school buses coming by and kids yelling at us. And the reason they were is because we had hooked it up with the Shelby County Sheriff's Department to send a unit out, like a suburban unit, to be in the movie. We called them up and they were like totally down. My mom called them up, totally down for it. And so they sent this unit out, and we're in there filming, and we'd just gotten this camera and only worked with it a couple of times. And it was so fucking hot out there that the fucking camera overheated, like shut down. And like, we've got Jerry Lawler for maybe another hour. It's 3:30, 4 o'clock. He's got to be done at 5 and gone. And we got all this shit to shoot. And all of a sudden the camera starts overheating. So the sheriff's unit was still running. So Jerry was like, just open the door. And, I'll turn the air conditioner on and like cool your camera off. And so we did that. We fucking held it up to opened the battery port and just fucking held the camera up to the fucking air conditioning unit, and it fucking cooled it right off, man. Like turned it back on, and it overheated again. We did it again, fucking turned back on. It was a crazy story.
Hell or high water. Damn
You
it.
ever watch that movie and you see that scene? Just know
Now
we
I
were
gotta go.
was
Yeah, I
under
gotta go watch it
immense
just to know, like-
stress trying to get that shit done.
Yeah. I want to shout out a couple people here real quick. Our good friend
some
Justin
people
Deming
comment.
here.
What's
This
up,
was
Justin?
earlier in the episode. Not saying I'm high, but I was watching a month-old episode thinking it was the live stream. Anyway, hello world.
I saw his comments popping up on my phone,
Dude,
not on
hell
the
yeah.
on the stream. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
We love Justin, man. Muck, yeah.
And then-
Bo wears pajama pants. Bo does wear a lot of pajama pants. That is for
Did
sure.
you see that comment there that he did earlier? This one, I still wear the Muck Sticky wristband that your son gave me in our last show together. Love you, Muck. Yeah,
Love you too.
there's some
Love
really
you
cool
too.
people in the comments
That's awesome.
tonight. Man.
Yeah. In this house, we respect the noble compact disc.
Yes, we do too, and the
Um,
noble vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh
Vinyl's
my
taking
gosh,
over
we
my
got
house
so many
again.
here. Hey,
I like cassette. I was the
Mike, we
cassette
love you
era
too.
kid too, man. Like grew up on cassette singles.
Yeah, for sure. Like 99-cent singles.
Oh, yeah.
mhm.
My first
Y'all
cassette
have
ever.
a Cats music up there where y'all were at?
A
Was that
what?
just
Cats
Memphis?
music?
Cats music back in the day.
Nah, we had like Music Land, Tape World, and then like some local ones. I knew more compact disc ones because that was when I was older and driving myself around.
Yeah.
But I do remember the first cassette tape I ever bought was
What was that?
Licensed to Ill.
License to Ill. That's legendary. That's a
Yeah.
legendary.
Hell yeah.
Still good, dude. Still holds up.
Also, shout out Ken. Yes, we will be at Revolver, and
2/3 of us. Anyway.
that's dope. Classic Memphis wrestling. Talk about a territory. Yeah, that was when you talk about a territory. Like obviously there were territories everywhere, but Memphis wrestling was a big one for sure.
Yeah, it was, man. A lot of legends. I mean, I saw like old Rocky Johnson videos and stuff. I think even some of them made it into the shows we did.
That's cool.
I was there the night the Moondog brother died in the Coliseum in the
Oh,
ring.
shit.
I don't know if y'all remember the Moondog brothers, but he
I
fucking
never.
he laid out, and I was videotaping too. I still have the videotape. I'll probably never see it will never see the light of day, but
Wow.
Hollywood
You-
had a thing to do that night. Me and him and his girlfriend were there, and I think he was backstage, and it was just me and the girlfriend sitting there, and I was filming with my camcorder, and like he falls out, and everybody starts freaking out, and I was like, it's part of the show, and she was like, I don't know, man, and he never got up, and they brought in the stretcher and rushed him out of there, and
Oh my
died.
gosh.
He died right there in the ring. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's fucked up though, because it is wrestling. You gotta consider that for a second. Like, is this a work?
Yeah, I mean, knowing what I knew about wrestling, I met Little Hollywood the night of my first show, and he did wrestling, of course, and he had this show booked at another venue a couple of months, like a month later, and was like, hey man, why don't you jump on this show as a musical act, because I want to have like music in between the wrestling matches. So I did, and we did those shows for a long time, and that's how I got to know the wrestling world, was through his shows and going to other shows that he got booked for, and
I love that
just
concept.
knowing that how it is, like you always got to wonder, because even in it inspired me in my music on my live stage shows. I would do, like, if you ever went to an old Muck Sticky show back in the early 2000s, I would fucking occasionally just fall out on stage purposely, and people would start going, is he okay? Is he okay? And then I would have like my other people come around me and put a jacket over me, and then I would like slowly raise up from underneath the jacket and start dancing around with the jacket over my head. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
as a funny little bit, you know what I mean? So, but I like prank. I'm a prankster, you know what I mean? So that's why I guess like wrestling quite a bit, because of that.
Speaking of pranks, did you guys hear about the guy that got arrested for spraying poop spray in the high school?
Yes.
Dude, we did that all the time in high school.
Yeah, I was about to say, man. Those
That's
little,
like all we did. Like I went. Okay, so short story. I went to an all guys high school, so there was no like trying to impress girls or anything like
Yeah.
that. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
just
It was
you're
just
hanging
all
out
the
with your
time.
boys.
testosterone galore.
Oh yeah, just hanging out with your boys and let's see what we can do to fuck with the teachers. And
Yeah.
I mean, our senior year English teacher, I apologize to her profusely now because we were.
You had female teachers though.
We did, yeah. We had female teachers.
Wow.
God bless those women.
Bless their souls, man,
Right?
for
Yeah.
taking that on.
But
Jesus
dude, we
Christ, Lord have
would.
mercy.
I remember this distinctly. We had. It wasn't even the fart spray. It was like the liquid. It was like liquid ass or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was potent, dude. Like if you spilled 2 drops of this, the entire room stank.
Mm.
Wow.
And we. One of the guys in our class took like this was when the electric fart machines were like you had a remote for it. We duct taped it under her desk chair before class, and
Oh man.
like
Wow,
throughout the class, we would
dude.
he'd sit there with the remote and just
That's insane, man.
and then like halfway through, he just like dripped a couple of drops on the floor, and it was like it was to the point where
legendary.
she started
Holy
crying.
Shout
She
out
was
to your homie for thinking of that.
so
dude.
upset. Yeah, shout
That's
out
epic
Andrew.
right
You know
there.
who you are.
My mom was a Christian school teacher at a very small Christian school. Not a lot of kids, like 200 kids in the whole school, right?
Yeah.
Through all grades. And my buddy who died, the one that I told you died and was a pallbearer at his funeral, he went to that school. And this was when we were teenagers still. You know, he's like 13, 14. We met when I think he was 12 and I was 15. And he already went to that school. And then she got a job like the next year or two. So I think I was like maybe 16, 17, 18 around the times that he went to that school. And she was a teacher there. And I remember there was a magic shop over nearby there. And we would go to that magic shop. And y'all may not remember these. I may be too dating myself. But they had these little glass vial. Sulfur bottles. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they're the worst.
And
That's
you go
what- look at
crack
this.
those fucking
We used
sulfur
to throw
bottles.
stink bombs. They were actual glass.
Yeah,
So
the glass
dangerous.
ones. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Yep. They were so fucking horrible. And like it was a small Christian school, and like so like people would do that and it would stink up the whole hallways and all the rooms. You couldn't escape it. You know what I mean? It was just because I would go occasionally and just like hang out at the school. I was bored. I was a homeschooler kid, and so I'd get all my shit done. And by then I was already had started college, and so when I wasn't in, I did my college classes all before noon, and so I would go over to the school. It was right around the corner from my college, and hang out for the last couple of periods because my buddy went there, and a bunch of kids I knew went there, you know, still. And it was weird being in college when all your other friends went to high school. It was
Doogie Howser, dude.
Strange.
Yeah. A whole different kind of Doogie Howser.
Doobie Howser.
I have an autographed picture from Neil Patrick Harris.
What a
when he
great
was
dude.
on Doogie Howser, because my aunt lived in LA and worked at this fitness club and knew him or his publicist or something like that, and got one, and it was autographed like to Justin from one Doogie to another. That's my given name. To Justin from one Doogie to another. Neil Patrick Harris. Still have it. And yeah,
So-
the legend in PH.
That's fucking awesome.
So I first found you on MySpace. That's the first time I remember seeing you.
There it goes.
But I gotta bring back a photo here, and it's just a really cool moment. And I guarantee you that you're the first guest that we've ever had who's been interviewed on the Tonight Show by Dave Chappelle. In fact, you might be the only person that I know that was interviewed by Dave Chappelle on the Tonight Show. This was what, 2002? First off, good hat. Second off, how did
Excellent
that
hat.
happen?
So the hats, that's what I would wear, that kind of outfit right there, going to the mall. I've seen before the tattoos, you know.
Yeah.
that's what I would wear to the mall. And we would go down on Beale Street, which is a legendary street in Memphis. It's where tons of,
Everything.
sanitation riots all the way back in the 60s. Martin Luther King was shot like 2 blocks from there.
Jesus.
And a lot of history on that street, a lot of legendary musical acts. And the one of the main clubs down there was the New Daisy Theater. Mike Glenn owned it. His son helped run it. And that's where I started getting booked for my first shows. Is where we did the wrestling show, Extreme Chaos Wrestling shows with Little Hollywood. And so we would just go up and down Beale Street, and I got to be pretty good friends with this girl who worked at Tater Red's shop, which rest in peace, Tater Red. He's the one I mentioned in the Wiki Wacky Weed song talking about the alien thing. Tater Red, he was a super cool cat, owned this real eclectic Tater Red's voodoo shop, and he was like all this really cool memorabilia, nostalgia, rock and roll, Grateful Dead, all kinds of shit in that shop, right? Just super cool shit. I got a lot of my gear. I got that purple hat that I'm wearing in that shop. And so the girl who worked there called me up, and it was like, I don't know, like 5:30 on a fucking Tuesday, or no, it was a Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was a Thursday. And I'll tell you why I know, because me and my best friend, Dennis, who was the one who passed away, went to his funeral, rest his soul. He had multiple sclerosis for a couple of years, and it was our dream to go to Amsterdam. And he'd been applying for disability for a couple of years and never got it. And finally got this big back pay check. And was like, I'm taking this to Amsterdam. It's my dream. We're going. And we were big weed smokers. And we're like, we're going to Amsterdam and smoking every kind of fucking weed we can smoke. And this was still, like I said, 2002, when weed was super illegal. So, like, we couldn't just smoke. We had to smoke whatever our local dealer gave us, right? And so we try. I remember, so Thursday night, she calls me. And it's like 5:30. I'm leaving to go to Amsterdam the next day on Friday, right? And she calls me up, and I'm hanging out with Dennis in Little Hollywood, and Dennis had already been sick, so he was like kind of not healthy. And he was actually really bad. It's just like, I'm not going to tell you that part of the story yet. So anyway, she calls me. He's like, yo, the Tonight Show's down here because the Mike Tyson fight is Saturday night at the Pyramid. And Dave Chappelle's down here interviewing people on the street interviews, getting ready for the fight. And she was right across the street from where they were at BB King's. No, maybe it was I think it was maybe, I forget what the club there was. Anyway, they were right across the street from her. She's like, you got to get down here. I know if you come down here, they'll put you on. And I was like, all right. And so me and Hollywood bolted down there. Took us like 40 minutes to get down there.
Does he mean jazz?
We walk up to the place, and we see Dave Chappelle like 2 doors down, and we just kind of linger right there. We didn't just want to walk up and be like, hey, will you put us on the show? We just kind of like lingered and stood there for a minute and kind of like did one of those, like, I don't know if we manifested this shit or not, one of those telepathic things, but I just kept staring at the people who looked like they were in charge, right? I wasn't paying attention to what Dave Chappelle was doing too much. I was just looking at the people in charge, and they kept looking over, and finally one of them walked straight up to us and like, hey, you want to be on the show? And we were like, fuck yes, we do. And so we walked right over, and he like starts the interview, and it was all like spontaneous right there in the moment. And we ended up, after the interview was over, I don't know if it's in the clip that I posted, but in the original clip, there's like a montage sequence where he goes up and down Beale Street and goes to different places. Silky Sullivan's had this place where they had a goat that drank beer, and they did a little thing with the goat. But we walked the whole Beale Street with Dave and the whole crew and everything, and hung out with him for a little while after it was done. He was a super cool cat. And the girl that was in it, I don't know if she'll ever see this, but I think she really wanted to be on it, and she didn't end up making it on it. And I think it really upset her that she wasn't on it. I felt really bad about that because she called me. But anyway, so it aired the next night, Friday night, and I was on a 10-hour flight to Amsterdam when it aired. So I had to have people record it for me. And
shit.
I stayed in Amsterdam for 2 weeks and then got back and saw it, of course. And then 2 weeks later, my buddy Dennis passed away 2 weeks of the day after we got back. But it was kind of a crazy how it happened sort of thing. Same thing happened with High Times Magazine. I mean, I was talking to my buddy Taco about this. His old guitar player, we were playing some shows down here in Florida, and he put on this VCR tape of the High Times Cannabis Cup. It was like probably April when we were playing these shows, and it had been the November before in Amsterdam, and it was like a bunch of these legendary musicians playing, and he was like, wouldn't it be dope if we could get on that? And I was like, I'm gonna fucking get on that. And we were still MySpacing it. It's 2006, so we're still MySpacing, and I fucking started messaging Steve Hager, the head of High Times, and he never responded to me. But then he came to a conference in Memphis where he spoke, and I went at the college. And at the very end of it, in this massive crowd of people, somebody asked a question. It's like, hey, how can you get involved in like the cannabis movement? And he was like, well, you got to like get yourself out in the community, set up a tent, a normal tent, or do something, set up some sort of tent, go to a concert like Muck Sticky's and call me out in front of fucking everybody. And I had no idea that he was even aware of who I was because I'd sent these unanswered emails. So I asked him, I went up to him a little while later at the end of it, and he was like, yeah, man, I got your email. We would love to have you at the Cannabis Cup because I'd been on the Pot 40 for a couple of months. And he was like, we'd love to have you play, man. I fucking played that year and the next year after that. The second year I had a sponsor and like took like 8 of my homies with me, all paid for in a luxury apartment in Amsterdam, which is like unfucking heard of because all the hotels are so fucking small. But man, it just like, and that year Tommy Chong was getting inducted in the Countercultural Hall of Fame. So we play our show and we walk off stage and we get back to our dressing room at the Milk Feg, and he's standing there talking to our sponsor, and like the sponsors having this conversation, and he introduces us. We all hang out and smoke. 3 years later, him and Cheech are going on the Up and Smoke Reunited tour, and I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, we'd love to see Tommy again. And they're like, fuck yes, here's the tour manager's phone number. Treated us like VIP, went to 2 different shows, hung out with Cheech and Chong 2 different times, like just smoking out, hanging out, super cool cats, man. Like I say all this shit to like, if any like bodies out there that has dreams, you already know because you've had some cool experiences happen with your shit you were talking about earlier. Like anything you really want to make happen, you can make happen if you just kind of like set your mind on it and be open to whatever happens. Don't be afraid of things not going exactly how you want it to go. If it doesn't go exactly how you want, be cool with that and adjust and move. But like stoner dreams do come true, folks. They really do.
And it is so very real. Like I went to WrestleMania by myself 2 years ago because I couldn't get anyone to go with me. And I ended up in a private party that everyone else paid $350 for. But I didn't even like sneak in. I just kind of ended up inside this party, and I'm hanging out with Ric Flair. Ric Flair gave me a beer.
Woo!
Like there's these moments where I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? I was messaging these guys at the time, and they were just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, how are you doing this?
That's awesome, bro.
There were so many things where I was just like, what is happening right now? What is...
I've never met Ric Flair. Hey,
it's great.
On my album release day, though, funny enough, Josie Scott from Saliva happened to be here in town. I was their roadie for several years, so he's still a really close friend of mine. And they were playing a show that same night in Clearwater, and I was having my album release party on a boat, like a cruise boat that left out of St. Pete, and it's like a VIP album release party, right? And Josie was just happened to be in town. I was like, hey, you and some of the guys in the band want to go? And they're like, yeah, can you come pick us up from the venue? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I go down there and pick like 3 or 4 of them up. We're all piled in my car, and we're driving through downtown St. Pete, and we're stopped at a red light. And I look over to my left, and there's a building. I don't know if it was like a doctor's office or a lawyer's office or some sort of like little building right there. It wasn't anything extravagant. Ric Flair and 2 other people were walking up to the door, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's Ric Flair!" And they all look over, and they're like, "Holy shit, it's Ric Flair!" And right then, the light turned green, and people are honking at me, and I had to go. I don't know, may have been honking at Ric Flair, but he didn't look up, and he went in the door like before we could even get the window down and be like, "Woo!" You know, like.
Yeah.
But that's my only Ric Flair experience was seeing him in downtown St. Pete.
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have been drinking when he had just had his like fresh off of his heart scare a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he had WrestleMania commitments, and I just happened to be at the bar he showed up at and didn't realize I was supposed to be there. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
he walked in, and I was in the section they walked into, which is how I kind of got myself in there because I had been friendly with one of the security guards, and we were just sitting there talking. And I guess he assumed I was supposed to be there, so he just let me in the area. And as Flair comes up, he has a beer in his hand, and they hand him a what do you call it? A bucket of beers, and he goes to open another beer, and they're like, "No, Ric Flair, you already have one here." And right as he opens it, he's like, "Well, then this one's this guy's." And he gave me a beer, and like I don't ever keep shit like that, man. But I most certainly somewhere around here, right here it is actually. I have
the beer Ric Flair gave you.
I kept that motherfucker, dude. I was
Hell
like,
yeah,
for sure.
Hell yeah, I got all kinds of cool shit like that. Cool little mementos, man. It helps you later in life to reconnect to those old memories, man. Sometimes they disappear and fade away if you don't stay reconnected. So I go through some of my old shit all the time and just look at that, and I've got quite a few. A lot of them have ended up on my hat over there. I've got, I retired the orange Muck Sticky hat some years back because it just got so fragile that it wasn't usable. But this is the official new Muck Sticky hat.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been adding buttons and cool little mementos and shit that I've kept over the years to that. I just added these palm trees because they came on my sister's birthday cake the other day. But
very nice.
Very nice.
Those little ketchup bottles you see on either side of the Borat thing, I found those when I was working like my last job where it was like the last job I had was working for the band Saliva as a roadie, which was a job, but it wasn't a job because it was cool as fuck. It was like, you're on tour with a rock band. It's hard ass work. Don't get me wrong, but I don't consider that a jobby job. I consider a jobby job something you don't really want to fucking do. And there was this jobby job that I had that I didn't really want to fucking do, where we set up for like conventions and stuff. It was hard, break knuckle work. It paid good. That's the only reason I did it. And some of the people that worked there are pretty fucking cool. In fact, that company, I got to give them a lot of love because over the years, Hicks Convention Service in Memphis, they've fucking set up so many Muck Sticky shows with all these giant props and stuff, made all the big giant joints you've ever seen in the Muck Sticky shows. Super Ricky Hicks and Billy Hicks, super cool people. So don't discredit them in that work, but it was a job that I worked my ass off, and I found those little ketchup bottles at a food convention we were cleaning up after one day, and I was like, I'm going to hold on to these ketchup bottles, and I just kept up with them. And then when I was like going through my buttons, like, what old buttons do I have I can put on this hat? I found those fucking ketchup bottles. So little cool things like that helps me remember like where I came from, and how far I've come, because I think that's a good thing to do in life. We often don't realize our growth because we're inside ourselves all the time, and so you can come a long way in life and still think you are where you were years ago. Even, a lot of people keep like an old mentality when they've actually grown, so I think it's cool and important to register how far you've come in life and to continue to work to grow. If you're one of those type of people that likes growing, some people don't, it's fine too, but just for me personally, I like remembering where I came from and recognizing how cool shit is now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, to combine both of those points, I want to show you a couple photos and then show you something we have here. So you Mean Joe Greened my daughter. I don't know if you remember this at all, but the first time we played with you, your album, which it for my son too, your children album has been a absolute staple of our household.
That's
So
awesome.
when you came to town and Dad was going to play with Muck Sticky, she had to go, and well, you took a photo with her back then, but
Yes.
as you left. Or as we left the backstage, you gave her these sunglasses, which I still have right here in my hand. You gave her these sunglasses, and boy, she like you could literally become an evil person and she would still stand behind you, man, because that
Oh,
moment was
that's
so
so
big to her.
sweet.
You are like a major star for her, you know. And
Oh
it's so
man, that's so awesome. I totally remember that, man. I completely 100% remember that night.
and
Uh,
she
what a super cool memory, man. Thanks for sharing that with me. And that was really cool to see.
Yeah, dude, she had
Cool.
talked so much about you that her brother was like jealous, right? So when we played the second time, you did something similar to him. And now you just got these
I
two kids
remember
now
that.
that are
Yeah.
like die
Green
hard.
hair. Love the hair. Love the hair, man. I remember that night. That too. I always enjoy playing with y'all, man. Y'all always super cool cats to play with. Super legit, responsible as artists. You know what I mean? I think I have a memory of something of the bonsai guys getting accidentally put in y'all's truck or something, and
Yes.
y'all like
Oh my
came
God.
back an hour away to bring the shit back, man. So
So
y'all are
let me
super-
tell this story because I felt so fucking bad. You are one of my little musical heroes, man. So I love playing with you. You know what I mean? Last thing I want to do is fucking unimpress one of you guys, right? Or leave a bad mark, right? So we're playing the show, and at the time, your guys were using my kit, which was cool. We had no problem with that. We were cool with that. But as we're cleaning up at the end of the night, we cleaned up everything but our drums, and we noticed on the side that the pieces we weren't using, you know, we grabbed those, and I grabbed the what do you call it, the snare, and I thought that it was for the opening band before us, the women that had played. I can't remember the name of the band now. I thought it was there, so I tried to run it to them. They were nowhere to be found, so I tried to call them. They didn't answer, and because you guys were using our kit, I automatically assumed that they had left their shit there and that you guys weren't using it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just throw it in. We got another show with these guys. It was Secret Circle Society. That's who it was. We had another show with them in a couple weeks, and we were like, I'll just take it to them the next day, whatever. And then I'm just on my way home. I'm almost home, which I was an hour away from the venue. And you called me. You're like, hey, man, by any chance, did you grab a snare? And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit. That's the one.
And I was like, fuck, I will come right now, man. And you guys had to wait a whole nother hour.
Man. That's straight up, man. You know what I mean? We didn't. We know accidents happen in the rock and roll world. It's part of being in the band, and I can totally, you know, because I don't think they were traveling with a lot of stuff. I mean, I know they had some extra drums, but yeah, man, it's never well, nobody had any hard feelings about it, I know, and y'all came and brought it right back. So I mean, that's straight up stand up of you. If you were trying to steal it, you would have stolen it. You were just like, no, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I never saw it. So
It was just a moment. I called my wife as soon as I got off the phone with you. I was like, babe, I just accidentally stole their fucking tour snare. I have to go all the way back. She was like, what? I was like, yes, I don't know how I did it. I didn't mean to do it.
It just gave us time to stand around, smoke a couple extra joints after the show. You know, we were all good, man. I don't think we had far to go. So, we always love playing there. Your boy that does the promotion all the time, man. He's a super cool cat. Yeah, he's a man. Love that venue. We should honestly probably play the theater over there, man. It's
it's too.
We're about to do a show there on November 1st with Jeff Hardy. Playing there. Yeah, we're actually us three are hosting that show, so we will be able to introduce Jeff's band.
That's cool. That's gonna be awesome. Hell yeah.
That's the type of shit we're talking about, man. We just randomly do cool shit with cool people just because we keep doing this. You know what I mean?
Man. That's what it's all about. Staying as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, spending your time, enjoying life, man, connecting with people in the world, doing something that at least somewhat contributes to the world as a whole, you know, like we all want to make a difference. And you know, it's easy to like want to make such a big difference that you set your sights real high, and if you don't achieve them quickly or right away or whatever, you get disheartened. But like, as long as you stick with it, man, the people, that's the number one common denominator with anybody who finds success in anything, is like just sticking with it, man, until you find success. Especially when it seems like it's not going to work and everybody's telling you, you should give up and do something else, man. To me, that's the time, like, sometimes it is good to assess and be like, okay, maybe I should change this and
Change
do
paths,
this a little bit different. Or maybe I should do something completely different than what I'm doing. That's all up to you, really. But as long as you kind of like, I think it's like an overall staying with life. You know what I mean? As long as you stay engaged in life and participating, showing up for yourself, whatever that is. You know, I've found, it's just going to sound like really crazy and corny and like, you know, old school, but I've found one of the things that like really helps me stay in tune with life is keeping my shit orderly. You know what I'm saying? Like keeping my house clean, keeping all my shit in good organized condition. I always heard this growing up, and I never really took it to heart because I was conventionally, especially when I was a teenager and early 20s, fucking sloppy as shit, man. Total stoner bedroom with fucking shit growing under the bed, you know, food that had gotten stuck under there and shit, you know, like, but I found that like the process of cleaning and organizing, I always heard growing up, cleanliness is next to godliness. And I always took that as like a bunch of prudish assholes going like, we who have nice things are better than you. You know what I mean? Like, but that's not what it is, man. It's because like, it's a meditative process, you know. The term cleaning out my closet is where it's, you know, that's where that term stems from. Is like when you're literally cleaning out your closet of all the junk that's in there, it's helping you get rid of all this clutter and shit that's that clouds your mind. You don't realize it, but it weighs on you. And when you're doing that, you're like tuning in to, you're meditating within yourself. And I work out problems like shit in the past that I haven't dealt with, or most time these days I'm thinking about ahead of like what I want to do next, creative projects, other things that I need to organize and get situated, you know. And like, to me, that's a creative process too. Cleaning and being productive in that department is a great, like, it seems simple, but if you're depressed, clean your house, you know what I mean? And if your house is totally spick and span, then like go make a record or make a movie or knit a sweater or paint a painting or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Our house is never cleaner when my wife and I are arguing. We're both pissed off. We just start cleaning.
Hey. And you'll find like you come back afterwards and you're like not as mad, you know?
Yeah,
You kind of
it's
like
therapeutic for sure.
You've sorted some shit out, and like it seems simple as fuck, man, but it's like a great way to just decompress and de-stress, like totally.
The older
So
I
that's
get,
what I've been doing a lot here lately, is like working on my world, showing up for my world, you know what I mean? Working on me.
That's the most important shit, man. The older I get, the more I realize that's what it's all about, is working on yourself and keeping yourself happy. We literally got to love yourself before you can love others, man. You got to make sure.
Don't not help other people too if you can, you know what I mean? Give advice when you can. If they take it, cool. If they don't, cool. But, you know, I did spend a lot of time, especially in my earlier years as Muck Sticky, recognizing that what I do has an impact. Everything you do, choice you make has an impact, but the music I make and stuff, people are listening to it, especially younger people. And so that's why I never really brought a lot of like violence and negativity into it, is because I recognize like, hey, I'm putting this shit out there. I've got problems, but is it really on me to put my problems and shit that I negative in my head onto other people, you know, and make them feel negative too? Or is it on me to sort that shit out and just let the good shit out, you know? So that way, doesn't do damage to anyone else, because that's in face it. I mean, that's what most of the time shit is like the damage people do to other people stems from some damage that somebody else did to them. You know what I mean? So I recognized that early on, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna put a positive message behind what I do. I may talk about some crazy adult type shit, you know, but for the most part, it's intended to make people laugh. And a little bit, I found, you know, even with like the mall story I was telling, walking around in the mall, a little bit of shock value has a way of making an impression on people, you know. And when I was young, I was only interested in the shock, as shocking as I could fucking get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I felt like if I can be shocking, and because it's inevitable that younger people are going to listen to this stuff, give them a good positive message inside of that, you know, so that as they grow and get older and do some of the wild, crazy shit that we adults do, they remember their goodness inside of themselves, you know, and don't let that go, because a lot of times when people do go down that road, it gets dark and they lose themselves and they don't stay connected. And so that's really the foundation of what I've tried to do, I guess, with especially my music side of, and my movie creative side of stuff too. You know, like I try to spread a positive message in just whatever I do, because I don't feel like it's right on me to put all that negativity on other people.
It works, man. Like I said, you make a positive impact in our family. When we clean the house as a group, we turn on Muck Sticky. You're one of our go-to listens. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, since we've hit our hour, we do have some questions that we normally ask. But before we ask those questions
there's comments. If anybody has comments, man, I'd love to know. I can't see them where I'm the way I'm watching.
We've been pulling them up as they go. Our good friend Justin Deming with some sage advice. That's the thing. Justin's always funny, like 98% of the episode, and then he tunes in with some like, damn, good shit. Yeah. Your great taste outweighs your abilities for the first 10,000 hours or so, and that's true.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at anything, you know. I agree with that. Yeah, I always felt like what I was making wasn't as good as what I liked, you know. And I think a lot of people go through that, artists especially. They like something a lot, and they aspire to be better at what it is they're doing, and maybe even try to do sort of like it, but it just doesn't come out as well. But sometimes maybe it does, you know, and they just don't realize it, you know, like
we're our hardest critics.
That people, I think, that people like the most are not the ones that I worked the hardest on, if that makes sense, you know, like, and not the ones that I would choose to be like, hey, this is my signature song that I want everybody to know me for, you know, like, fuck off. It's great, but that's not, I wrote that song in like 15 minutes and recorded it in maybe 30 or 40. I spent maybe an hour working on that song.
Wow. And it's your number one in a way. It
is my most popular song. And
so I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to ask.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, like, I've worked so hard on so many other songs that I feel like I like more than that song, or even Thingy Thing or Nasty Ho or whatever. Those aren't like my favorite songs of mine. They're great songs. I don't discredit them in any way, but it's not what I love the best about what I do, you know? So
my favorite by far is Ovulating Ostrich. I remember the first time as I was listening through your discography, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I listened to it again, and the first line, I was playing Duck Duck Goose with a Polynesian turtle. And I remember, like, what is there a fucking message to this? I got to ask, were you just like, I'm going to write the most random fucking song I possibly can? Because that's what that seems like to me. It literally just like, I am going to be.
I was a big fan of Mad Libs growing up, man. I did them a lot, you know? And just that word replacement, you know, where you could like put any word in any, you know. So like, that's kind of like that is just like, let me just make the most disconnected, spaced out. Because a lot of serious, and I'm serious about what I do when it comes to like this is my shit and I take it seriously, like. But when it comes, like, I don't take myself too seriously, and I don't take art too seriously in the regard that most of what I do is funny and lighthearted. I'm not like life is so hard and depressing, which a lot of people are, and I think a lot of people in that world, which I was. Growing up, I listened to a lot of that stuff too, and it did send me down a darker road. And I recognized the psychology in that within myself, and there's a lot of reason why what I do is positive. But so, by knowing that and hearing other artists that are try to be so serious, and the way they sing and the things they say that are so disconnected, like, man, the only person that really knows what this motherfucker's talking about is this motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, true that.
and like Radiohead and bands like that, they're huge and a lot of people love them and I like them okay, but just like a lot of that sad stuff that you can't really make out what the fuck they're saying, I think maybe went into that like ovulating ostrich. Like, I'm gonna make sure you understand what I'm saying, except you're not gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about because it's so spaced out like that shit. But it's wacky and nonsensical, I guess is the right word.
Yeah,
I love the Mad Libs inspiration. That's fucking great.
There's a train track by my house, and when I used to live in Botkins, Ohio, this was years and years ago. But there was a train track that somehow a part of it got spray painted green. And I so wanted to just buy a can of Spam to drop it on the green train track. And I was like, I didn't complete it, but I should have, man. I remember like, damn, there's my chance to create reality.
Wow, you should have done that, bro. I totally would have reposted that one for sure because that's pretty legendary. Green train tracks, can of Spam. I mean,
yeah.
It was just, like I said, just word flow, word. He did it in What About Bob? Frog, log, whatever that little part is he does, like
what a great reference.
That's one of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
That's a fantastic movie.
Like, you guys like talking about movies. That like we can have a whole podcast about movies. I'm a fucking movie freak.
Honestly, we'll have you on again because I'm 1,000% down with that. I'm a huge
Speaking of which,
guy.
Since we're already 12 minutes over, let's get these two. We have two questions we ask every guest, no matter what. Okay. So Mike will ask you the first one, and then Big Rig will follow up with the second. Go ahead, Mike.
He's in Florida. It's going to be a doozy. So us dads, we're very budget-minded individuals, and we have certain standards. So we like to ask our guests, what do you keep your thermostat set to?
What do I keep my thermostat set to? That's an interesting way to reference or to inquire about that. I had a guy tell me once, he's like, never trust a person who uses single-ply toilet paper. And I was like, he's like, Rich, and so like, I don't know. I like single-ply toilet paper. It works better for me, man. It's more comfortable. That double-ply shit, I feel like I'm not getting the right connection, the right grip. But anyway, my thermostat is usually, and I'm in Florida, depends on the time of year. If it's like December to February, March, sometimes I have to have a little bit of a heater on at about 70, 71.
Okay.
Cool wise, about the same thing. We usually keep it on 71. We go outside sometimes and leave the lanai door open, and it heats up the house a little bit. So it'll get to like 73, 74 sometimes, but I'm not a freeze out kind of guy, and I'm not a too hot kind of guy.
Yeah.
Wow. What's your set to?
We always say there's three acceptable answers, and that's 68, 69, or 70. Or there is a caveat: if you have a significant other, it's what she wants. That's an also acceptable. Yeah, that's also acceptable.
Well, it's I think right now it's set to 70, so I think I qualify in your category.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. The other one is a real simple one. Just what's something you're thankful for today?
What's something I am thankful for today, man? Well, I usually start off with life itself, man. Just the fact that I woke up today, the people I love woke up today, the critters I love woke up today, you know, all my friends that I know of woke up today. Specifically, I've been really enjoying this thing that I found. I went and played a festival. I don't tour a whole lot. I tour some, but I just do select shows in festivals. And I played this headline 2 nights in this festival a couple of weeks ago in Ohio. And we went out, and I'm thankful for this, and this is why I'm going to tell you this story. We went out after the festival was over, like on Sunday, in Morgantown, West Virginia, and we're downtown, and they're like, "Have you ever had Ohio Valley style pizza?" Do you guys know what Ohio Valley style pizza is?
I've never heard of that in my life.
I had never heard of this either.
I live in Ohio.
Told it to me. When they told it to me, I was like, "Ugh, that sounds terrible."
Yeah.
Can they do it differently? Can they do it the normal way for me? They go, the way they do it is they take the crust, and it's like a super thin crust, real crispy, almost like a cracker, and toast it and put the sauce and all the ingredients on it, toast that, and then they pull it out of the oven and put the shredded mozzarella provolone cheese on it cold and serve it to you like that. Cold shredded pizza on the hot, cold shredded cheese on the hot pizza. It sounded horrific. It made my face and me do a double take. And then I went and ate this shit, and I came home, and I shit you not, made it for the first 4 or 5 straight days I was home. Every single day. Went and bought a thin pizza crust, toasted it in the fucking oven with the broiler, put the sauce and the fucking shit on there, my own ingredients, dump that cold cheese on there, cut it, man, and it sounds horrific, but just try.
That sounds fucking horrifying.
It will blow your fucking mind. So a cold Ohio Valley style pizza is, I guess, what I'm thankful for today.
That sounds like some Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia made that shit up. That's fucking
I looked
crazy.
it up because I was curious, and this dude's named DeCarlo is the place I went to, and I guess he's the one that started it. He was like, you know, it's like a coal miners, coal miner area up there, and I guess like back in the big coal mine rush or whatever, they were, and it was just the way he just happened to do it like that, and people loved it, and so he was like, I'm going all in on this, and I guess he's got a couple of different restaurants in that whole area, and created this style of pizza.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do. You gotta carve your own niche, you know?
Yeah, man.
Well, that's what happens when your tongue's covered in coal dust. You can't fucking taste nothing.
Ouch.
You know,
I'm just playing. Right. I'll probably end up making it at some point this week and seeing what
you will
happens.
not regret it. You will be thanking me. You go, man, I'm glad he told me. That's some shit I've never thought of before. And I've never thought about that cold cheese on a pizza. Like, I don't really like cold pizza. You know, like I always heard that, like, when a pizza sits out for 4 or 5 hours, it starts developing mold, right? So I've never been. If you keep it in the fridge, I guess it's okay. But if it sits out on the counter, like, it can become unhealthy. And so I've never been a fan of leftover pizza, and so I never really eat a lot of cold pizza. But when I tried that shit and I sunk my fucking teeth into that cold shit and that hot, crispy sauce, and like there was like, you know, pepperoni and sausage and shit underneath there. Oh man,
I'm doing some research. So Primo DeCarlo is the inventor of this. Invented it in 1945. Inspired to create this style after eating pizza in Italy during the war.
Okay, there you go. Okay. That was the story. I mean, I knew
deep roots.
45. That was the big coal mining days up there. You know what I mean? Sure. It still is. I mean,
to be fair, guys, I mean, we are in Cincinnati, and what do we eat all the time? Hot chili wieners with cold cheese on top.
That's true.
and we fucking love it. So
That
maybe
sounds delicious too.
It's so
Well,
good.
and for a lot of what I'm reading here says the residual heat, because the sauce and the crust is hot, so it melts the cheese like as you eat it, which so it makes it like a unique texture.
You're making Mr. Magnificent fucking mouth water over there.
I'm
watching
all
it.
on
He's
board.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hungry as fuck, right? Y'all got me hungry.
Yeah.
I got to eat myself. In fact, we're almost at 10 o'clock, boys. Let's wrap this thing up. Muck,
I appreciate y'all having me on. It was a fun time chatting with you guys, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Good time.
Anytime, man. Be glad to pop on. So
hell yeah. We'll have to do like just a movie one, or maybe we
yeah,
can
man.
get you on
Before we go? What's your favorite movies?
Ooh. Big Lebowski.
favorite movie or movies?
Movie.
Because
I'm
can give you
I'm asking y'all plurally. What's your
Okay.
favorite movies? But individually, what is your favorite movie?
Sandlot, Goodfellas, Blues Brothers.
My boy Willie Hall. He's the drummer. Willie Hall is in Zebo Newton.
Oh, no shit.
Really?
Blues Brothers, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh yeah. Willie
Too Big Hall.
Willie Too Big Hall. Yes.
Those are good. Those are three good ones.
Yeah, those would probably be my top three.
Yeah.
Goodfellas, Menace to Society, Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
Three good ones. Love
All
them
right,
all.
if we're doing three, Big Lebowski, of course. I'm an ordained minister in the Church of Latter-day Dude. So I'm a huge fan of Big Lebowski.
Yes,
and
too.
then The Matrix and probably Forrest Gump, man. I will watch
Yeah,
Forrest Gump
great movie.
all the fucking time.
I love Forrest Gump. I remember going and watching that in the fucking theater with my girlfriend at the time. I think I was 16 or 17 when that came out, and I had my convertible car and took her to see that. My favorite movies have changed over the years. It used to be a certain three, but now some, and y'all probably may not even seen this one, but you totally have to. If you like The Big Lebowski, I'm a huge Coen Brothers fan, right? I love almost all their movies. I've seen almost all of them. I think I haven't seen Miller's Crossing. That's one of the only ones I haven't seen. And then there were like 2 or 3 that I watched that I didn't really get into. I hated the blues guy. Finding Llewellyn Davis or whatever, that was fucking made me so depressed. But favorite movie all time, if I had to be locked away,
it's all you can
going
watch.
to an island and there's a VCR or a DVD player and you can only take one DVD with you. Which one are you taking? It's the Coen Brothers version of The Lady Killers with Tom Hanks, Marlon Wayans. If you've ever seen that, it's the best movie. It's the most perfectly executed movie. And I know I've made movies. I know about like how stories are told and following like classic storytelling modalities and the hero's journey and things like that. And that movie, everything about that movie comes full circle in one way or another. It is so brilliant. And then Sling Blade is my second. That used to be my first, but Lady Killers has taken over this. And then after that, it's a toss up between Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's my whenever anybody's what's
my own Audrey 2 that I did myself.
There you go.
Feed me.
Feed me, Seymour. I think I've kind of thought about this over the years because I've always been asked the question, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movies? This, that, and the other thing. And they always kind of change, but those 3 that I said are always up there. And I think my litmus test for my favorite movies is I don't have to be in any kind of mood to watch them. I can be sad, I can be happy, I can be whatever, and I will want to watch those 3 movies every time.
I have a lot. I mean, probably dozens of movies like that I can just watch without, like you said, not needing to be in any sort of mood. And in all honesty, watch them frequently. Like we watch The Lady Killers multiple times a month. It's to me, it's and it's the same way with stand-up comedy too. To me, it's like it's the same as a song. You don't just listen to a song once and be like, all right, I already heard that song. You know what I mean? Like you hear a song, you want to hear it again. You hear jokes, you want to hear them again. They're fucking funny, you know. Like we watch Ron White, Bill Burr. There's a whole list of people that we love watching. Yeah, Bill Burr. I got to hang out with him one day. He played Memphis, and I invited him and his buddy Joe Bartnick and their tour manager to go. I hooked him up with a tour of Sun Studio in Memphis where Elvis recorded and shit. And we all hung out, and I gave him a ride back to the hotel and shit. Super cool cats. Had Bill Burr in my backseat. Cool cat.
That's awesome. Pretty fucking sweet. I love Bill Burr. I liked it. One thing, you know, I don't ever get no political stance ever, but I like that Bill Burr will tell you what he thinks, regardless of who he pisses off. George Carlin gave me the want for that. So I want somebody who is an orator who just tells me the exact truth as they see it, even if I think they're wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love it. I love the unapologetic. Authenticity is important.
I like unapologetic anything. You know what I mean? Now, however, I do know there's a line between just like saying things just to piss people off.
Yes, sir.
And that I'm not the hugest fan of. I mean, it's okay. I know it's part of entertainment, but you know, you have to know the difference between like being somebody who's bitch moaning and complaining, like Bill Burr talks about, you know, and speaking your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you can speak your mind without bitch moaning and complaining. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We'll bring
Ron
this
White's
up too,
another
real
one
quick.
I love.
Ron White's fucking great. RoboCop, UHF, and Evil Dead 2, all fantastic movies.
Yeah, Army of Darkness. If you're asking me about Evil Dead, it's Army of Darkness for me. I had somehow when I was in my teens kept that from a VCR rental place called King Video in Memphis. Nice, yes, yes, I love that. That's fucking awesome. I kept this tiny ass video rental store when I was a teenager. Got Army of Darkness from there and kept it, and it was one of my regular pop it in the VCR and watch it. Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman movie, is another one of those that I can watch any fucking time, man. Yeah, we can talk all night about movies. I know you guys got to get.
No, you're good, man.
Definitely get around to it at some point, man. We'll hit you up with some dates and we'll get you on for a round 2, and we'll do one about cinema, man. We like to do different episodes themed on shit. So
yeah, get your boy let's book another show up there, man. Let's play another show together, man. Sometime in the spring. I'm gonna be doing a lot of shit this coming year. So
ready, man. Cincinnati needs another one, man. It'll be
yeah. Cincinnati does, man. Is that the only venue y'all usually play at? Because I know that's Covington, right?
Yeah, that's just Travis's go-to. You know what I mean? He's got the end there. But there's definitely some venues here in Cincinnati, and like in downtown Hamilton has a new place called the Spooky Nook. And they have like these really cool stages that we could probably get something worked out. I'll talk to some of the guys I know. We'll see what we can get together, man. I'd love to get a springtime, maybe some type of 420-ish somewhere around there.
Somebody just mentioned booking me for 420-ish in Memphis. So that would be a good run. It's not too far from there. You know, I could maybe hit Nashville, hit Memphis or something like that, vice versa. So yeah, let's try to make something happen. It'd be fun. Will have been 2 years since we
got a nice core of fans up here too. I love when I've come to your shows. It's just like it's literally like there's this core of people, and it grew both times that we've played. But there's this specific core of people that are there both times, and it's just like, all right, I like that he's got diehards there in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think everybody, if you hear it all the time, people saying, you do what you love and you'll find your tribe, man. And it's totally true with us. For years we called the Muck Sticky fan base the tribe because, you know, it's just,
it makes sense.
We're different. It's not your normal cup of tea, man. You know, it's definitely got its own flavor. And if you dig it, cool. I know not everybody's going to dig it, but it seems like most people do, you know?
I just got a text from one of my friends who said, "Let's get something together at Yellow Cab," which is a venue. So somebody's watching along right now and already ready to book you.
Yellow Cab. All right.
Yeah,
Sounds good, man. Send me. Y'all got my email and stuff. Send me an email. We'll work out.
I got your number
details and shit. Yep. This will be fun, man. It was blast talking with you guys tonight, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thanks again for having me on.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Where can people find you, man? Before we wrap this up.
I mean, you've heard my song "Google Me, Bitch." You know what I mean? So I hate to always be like "Google me, bitch" because I sound like a dick when I say that. I'm pretty much fucking everywhere, and I've only got one. That's another thing. I've only got one thing on each thing, and if it's not, and it's just on like the top 5, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter,
all that shit.
I don't even know if I use any more than that. You know what I mean? I think that's the only ones I really use regularly. So don't fall for any phonies out there. I know there's a lot of people out there. I get them all the time. Like, somebody's messaging saying it's your personal account. Like, bullshit, motherfucker. Anybody should recognize that that's not a real thing. Nobody does that.
Right.
So, but yeah, just find me out there. YouTube it. YouTube it, as the old folks say.
That's right.
Eric, take us home, buddy.
Hell yeah. Well, we have been the DWO podcast. I am Big Rig Eric Matthew. He is Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephus. And he is the one, the only Muck Sticky. As always, you can check us out on all the socials at DWO_podcast, Facebook at the DWO podcast, TikTok at DW_pod. Get that damn merch at Pro Wrestling Tees, TeePublic, or message us directly. Like, subscribe, listen, follow, all that good stuff. And until next time, top dads out.